Hi, I'm Amber, and this is all about putting people in the limelight. And today I have the wonderful Sika, my
Hello.
not only friend but an expert sound artist with me. And we're going to be talking about how he has found his purpose in life and to be truly living on purpose, uh, making the magic that he does. So, hello.
Hi,
Good to
Amber.
see you.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No,
Okay.
it's lovely to be doing this with you. So, yeah.
Let's talk. Let's get into
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Well, the first thing I wanted to first talk about actually is how not only amazing are your sound experiences, because they're not just a journey; it's a whole experience, isn't it?
Mm.
How did you get to be doing what you do?
Mm.
I know that's a big question, but
It's a very common question, actually.
yeah.
The simple answer is that I was on the path of being an artist from way back,
Mm,
from as early as I remember, to being given a didgeridoo out of the blue, teaching myself over 2 years, and
mm.
then being given a ticket to America, where I played the next day, and boom,
Really?
it just happened.
Yeah.
So it was one of those frustratingly and probably nauseatingly annoying stories when I wasn't actually trying to make anything happen, and it happened.
And the universe just conspired to give you the opportunity to make it
Yeah,
happen, basically. Yeah,
yeah.
wonderful.
That's the
And
very quick, simple answer
yeah,
to that.
and
Yeah.
I believe you do have the blessing of the Aborigines and the Maoris for the instruments you use.
I have.
Tell me
I've
more about
had
that.
many blessings from
Mm,
incredible indigenous people, in particular the Yuin people from South Australia,
mm,
who interestingly are not traditionally didgeridoo players, but they have been there throughout my whole path with the didgeridoo, and it
mm.
took me many years before I even realised that connection. But yeah, there was some notable elders, two of whom have passed away.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. But lovely to know that you've had their blessing
yeah,
and you
yeah.
can take the frequency of it essentially around the world. I mean, that's what it is for me with the limelight. Lime is renewal and regeneration and fresh start, and
Mm,
I'm hoping to get people to see how others have done their
mm,
lives
mm,
over and
mm,
actually experiencing that as a frequency.
mm.
But sound frequency is just so incredible, isn't it? And when because I've participated in many journeys
You
with you
have
over
now,
the
yeah.
years now.
You're a veteran.
Yes, absolutely. And just the way that the creativity comes through and the flow of it comes through. I mean, it's akin to how I like to take photographs and things. It's that
Okay.
being in the moment with it. Tell me
Yeah.
more how it feels from your
Yeah.
side, because as a participant, it just seems to be all pre-planned, but I know it's
Does
not,
it?
right?
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting to hear from your perspective.
Well, you would
Um,
you would imagine that not pre-planned, but you would imagine that there was
a map, a
yes, a
design.
map, a design.
Yeah.
So are you
No, there
more
isn't.
in the moment?
It's very spontaneous. I literally don't know what I'm going to start with.
Really, really.
And many of the sound journeys start with a guided visualization,
Mm.
and I don't know where I'm going with that until I start doing it.
Well, that's painting in people's minds, really,
So
isn't it?
yeah,
So
it's
you,
using
yeah, just
English language to articulate an image
yeah.
that I drop into people's minds, and then for me that's kind of creating a, or it's taking them to a sacred place within themselves, because even though I'm suggesting the imagery, it's going to be different for everyone. And once we're there, then I let the sounds take over,
Mm.
and by that time I'm well immersed in it. As we were talking about before, basically as soon as I start speaking, it is a stream of words that come out and a stream of guidance that
Stream
comes in.
consciousness, yeah.
So the the probably one of the biggest parts of learning to do what I do was learning how to listen to spirit and how to get out of the
Mm.
way.
Mm.
And most of the time I do as I'm told.
Do you rebel sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing that, and then it's like, yes, you are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nimbly so, tiptoeing in between all the people lying
Yeah,
down having their journeys as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
that's an art form in itself to
yeah, true.
not drop a giant didgeridoo on them.
Yeah, when I'm walking around playing the didgeridoo, and it's 3 or 4 kgs, and I'm balancing in dim light, and
Mm.
there's water bottles and things,
Handbag
trip hazards
handles and
carefully placed to see if I can fail. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's an interesting dance between being in this world and being out there in another world.
Mm.
And it really is that, like I'm starting by saying we're leaving time, and it's a very multi-dimensional realm that
Mm.
we enter into, and I do too.
Well, I was going to say, do you as
So
well? Because
I
you kind of
I'm
have
getting
to,
the
really.
sounds, and I'm also getting the vibration of the sounds inside me,
Yeah.
especially with the didgeridoo. The whole of my head is vibrating.
Really?
I mean, I
Crikey.
often tell the story of one of my didgeridoos, which is in a very low tone, and if I try to look with my eyes, the vibration is so great that everything is blurred, which gives a bit of a suggestion as to what it's like in there for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I'm getting it on that level, and I'm also being affected by the sounds and the. I'm a very visual person. I'm
Yeah,
an
I am.
artist,
Mm.
and so I get a constant visual movie going on.
But that's interesting. Do you actually do you see the sounds as shapes? And because I learned something recently about if you push a sound, I can't remember if it's up octaves or down octaves. If you keep going far enough, it becomes color frequency, and vice versa. You can take a color frequency,
Well, that would make
and then you can
sense.
change the octave up or down. I can't
Mm,
remember up or
mm,
down, but keep
mm.
going, and it becomes sound frequency.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah,
when you say you see it like a movie, do you actually see the undulations of the sound in your mind's eye, or
I do.
yeah,
Like patterns,
mm, lovely,
um, but not always. But I virtually always see like a landscape
mm.
with beings in it. And I say beings because they could be animals, they could be humans, they could be other types of beings.
Are they your spirit
But
guides that join in as well? Your own spirit guides, do you think, or just
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah? No, it's beautiful, and it's it's really hard for me to describe, which is why I'm getting him to do it. It's such
Yeah.
an experience to really lose yourself in not just the sound frequencies. It's not just the ears, community as well, because you're lying next to everybody.
Mm,
You're resonating with them, but also the it sort of comes through the floorboards. Even it's really, really
mm. It's palpable, isn't it?
it's
You really,
tangible.
yeah,
It's really
yeah,
tangible. It's literally a whole harmonic resonant
yeah,
reset
yeah,
is how I describe it.
yeah.
It's
I
wonderful.
absolutely agree.
Mm.
And so, for clarity's sake, most of the sound journeys that we're talking about that I do are amplified. They're not always. Sometimes it's just the raw instruments unamplified. But either way, you are feeling the vibration of
Mm.
the sounds, especially the drums and the didgeridoo. They you can feel that vibration right inside your body, and it moves us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I like to think that if you have any kind of aches and pains and blockages, shall we say, the vibration of the instruments literally starts the
Shakes
whole
it off.
thing moving, and yeah, it's profound,
Mm.
and it also affects us enormously emotionally and psychologically. So you couple these things together, you've got a multi-layered experience going on
Mm.
that is a bit like a wild animal, really, in that you can't predict where it's going to go. It'll run in any direction, and it might actually start going in one direction and then suddenly veer off, or it might be going in one direction and then suddenly absolutely be in a completely different arena.
And I guess, like music generally, you would put on something, the difference between a sort of a rock and a ballad or whatever, melody or something, or pop or whatever, it creates different emotions just from the actual content of that. So, and you've got so many beautiful, beautiful, I mean, some of these instruments that he's got, you wouldn't even believe the sounds that are made from looking at it. But these sounds you generate from the things that you have that are all sacred. It really is an emotional journey, isn't it? You can sculpt people in a way.
It really is.
That's what it certainly feels like when you're lying down.
This is a huge subject, and it's a subject that I love ranting about.
Go on.
So I think we are all affected by sound, and it affects us on all the levels that you're talking about. And certain instruments pull at our heartstrings, shall we say?
They call them heartstrings, don't they?
Exactly.
I mean,
I have started using some orchestrated sounds in my sound journey for that reason, to bring in a really highly emotive sense that puts you into that softness and that place of connection to feeling. And for me, the sound journey is very much a vehicle for us to be in touch with what we're feeling in each moment and the truth of each moment.
And to surrender to that
and to
truth.
Surrender to that truth. And then that is like a stepping stone that takes you to the next moment of truth, and then the next one. That. And you don't know where that's going to go, but eventually it builds a picture that is unique to you and is quite revealing. You start to understand things about yourself in a very subtle, deep way.
Well, it becomes sort of cellular resonance, doesn't it? I mean, each cell, I mean, everything vibrates, doesn't it? So each cell is reacting to the next cell next to it, to the bigger, to the bigger, to the bigger. And yeah, I think it's wonderfully healing, actually. It's beautiful. It's beautiful the way it unfolds.
Yeah, and for me, I think healing is a word that we use commonly, and it doesn't belong in a box. The word healing is something that needs to remain very open and free.
Yeah.
By the very nature of it, I consider it to be a blessing from the gods, really. It's like when everything conspires to be perfect, something shifts, and a healing can take place.
It can be allowed to exist.
So, but for me, that is not something that we can really predict. And so I think that I offer the sounds as a way for us to potentially enter into a realm where we might have an experience that is healing.
Yeah. I know. Yes, I know you're not claiming come and be healed or anything like that, but it by the very nature of the frequency, it's got to. I think it's got to do good. I mean, it's not just unwrapping people to the point where they can feel that themselves, but you're literally bringing the cells back into alignment. I mean, if you haven't been didgeridooed, you need to be. Is all I'm going to say, because when the actual didge is, because Sika walks around in between us and tiptoes over all the different bags and things, and if you're lucky enough to actually have an experience where the didgeridoo is fully on you, sort of above your head and on your chest, because you actually get, because it's long, I guess, and you're standing up and it's long, the
Mm.
end of it is actually right on, almost on the body, isn't it?
Yeah,
If we're lying
it's a
down.
few centimeters away
Yeah.
from.
And it just,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's such an incredible
I must do
tool.
it sometime.
You have a go. You might be good at it, you know. You never know.
No, I mean do it on the other end of it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Yeah. Well, I could try, but no. Yeah. No.
It is incredible. It's hard to find the words really to explain what it's like. It's evocative, emotional, sensory,
That's good words.
sometimes intense. It can easily invoke a sense of dream and beyond time.
Because and that, hence the journey aspect of it. It really
Yeah.
does take you somewhere. But I'm curious, have you ever had anybody have an actual, I mean, I know everybody has their own experience and their own journey, but have you ever had anybody sort of unravel completely by being, you know?
You mean like sort of break through
Yeah,
into...
or run out the door or anything? I mean, literally just couldn't cope with that much.
No, I haven't actually.
That's good
I've
to
had
know.
people that have really entered into very deep emotional
Mm,
outbursts, if you like.
yeah, but they've stuck with it
But they've
and
stuck with it. Yeah.
rode
Yeah, I've
the
never had
journey.
anybody who's actually just got up and left.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Well, not that I'm aware of anyway, so there might be somebody listening who, I was the one that did, you know, but
yeah, no.
I didn't notice.
You'd be missing out on the rest of it if you did, but no, it's wonderful.
No, I mean, I'm really big on the sound journey not just being light and airy fairy and calming and relaxing. You know, it's perhaps quite different in that respect because I don't shy away from the shadow. And
yeah, go on.
You know,
sorry.
there are sounds in there that are deliberately strong and intense, and sometimes discordant. And I play with that because the nervous sort of intensity when it breaks into a beautiful harmony.
Yeah.
And a very
like
easy to listen to experience, then the combination is just like, it's like pulling back a bow, you know, and then letting the arrow fly. You know?
That's a really good description of it. I can really see that in terms of knowing how you play, but also, because it's that as the arrow's coming back.
Yeah, and you're straining and you're straining and you're straining, and then you let it go, and everything, all the muscles and everything just kind of goes, oh, thank God for that, you know. So one didgeridoo might be really intense, and another one might make you feel like you're in bliss. And it's not the same every day either, because you might come back,
every person either,
and it's not the same for every person.
No.
But for sure, I do recognise that there are moments in the sound journey where there's like a really intense frequency of sound going on, and I'll just hold it just to that point when I'll then go into something else. You know? And you know, in the minuscule detail of what I'm doing, like playing an instrument and finding that tonal range that does what we're talking about, and riding that, like I'm sort of riding the sound waves, like a surfer rides the ocean, you know, just skirting along the top and then dropping down into it. So playing around with tempo and velocity, volume, all the things that you might experience when you're listening to classical music, film score. I'm really obsessed with listening to film scores.
How good would that be, having your music be film
absolutely
score?
that is my dream.
Yeah.
Is to work
Cool.
in the movie industry using my sounds in films, because I think they're absolutely perfect for it. And that you can be listening commonly in a movie. You'll be listening to a piece of music in the background, or you might not even be aware of it, and it's there, and then the scene changes and you're listening to something completely different.
Yeah.
And it immediately,
but it enhances it.
brings out a different range of emotions and thoughts and a different reaction to it, of course.
Because when you are, conversely, when you're doing, or not conversely, I'm agreeing, but when you're doing the soft bit, and then, because I'm so aware also, because just for the record, I sometimes go to your events to help take photos and do some videos, and just sort of capture some of this, because I love to just capture it, and it's useful, because you can't do that as well as play the didgeridoo.
No,
it's good, but it's not that clever.
It's very useful.
But so if you're in the middle of a really soft bit that's literally twanging at your heartstrings, whatever, and you don't know what's coming next if you've got your eyes closed, when the didge kicks in, that initial, it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll show you some of that. The participant's point of view, that it's just takes you off on such a different direction.
Yeah.
But how does that feel when that first sort of burst of didgeridoo, I guess I'm asking about, how does that feel to you when you've been aware of everybody and sort of sculpting the sounds and everything, but also holding space? You're holding space because you're the only one with your eyes open, apart from me sometimes. How does it
what an interesting question.
feel inside?
It feels like a very potent stepping through a portal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm about to completely change everything. Here we go. Boof, and because I've got an out breath to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it comes in with usually with some power behind it. It's a really big change of dynamic.
And it is power more so than volume, even, because you could have been doing something like the flute or your beautiful horn. I love that horn. It sort of pulls you to, the horn pulls you to other history and ancestral stuff and everything. It's beautiful. But you could have had something equally as loud, but the didgeridoo just sort of, that initial,
it's a very full sound, isn't it? It's a very full sound. It's like every space in the every space in the room, in the immediate vicinity, is filled with sound waves. It's a fat sound.
It's a big fat sound.
It is. And then if it's done in a way like to juxtapose a very thin sound or a very quiet sound, or or space, maybe even silence, and then coming in with that full fat sound, it's a rich sound, and it makes me sort of feel like boom, like, and I can see other people just having this bodily response to it when they just kind of open, or drop back, or surrender, or sink into their pose on lying on the ground.
Certainly when it's over the harp, the actual didgeridoo, if you're getting a personal experience as Sika's moving around, you can't. There's nothing else in the world you can think about in that moment.
mm,
It's just so
mm,
filling,
mm,
but freeing too.
mm,
It just
mm,
totally.
mm,
It does. It just, you really do just open and sink into that harmony and that
mm. I think as well, it's really good
natural
to
state of
acknowledge
being.
the interaction of more than one instrument that's going on commonly going on in the sound journey. Like there are times when I'm playing just the didgeridoo, but there are also times when I'm playing didgeridoo and drum and
At once.
other things, um, and those are interacting with each other, and the
Mm,
sound waves are literally bouncing off each other and creating pulses and harmonics and overtones, and those are the things that I love. I love when you get subtle harmonic overtones and undertones that are like the byproduct of more than one instrument at the same time.
mm, mm.
And within the didgeridoo, there are layers that are bouncing off each other. So there are also like subtle pulses and frequencies going on. Like I'll be using the drone of the didgeridoo, which creates one sound wave, and then I'll put my vocal cords into it, which creates another sound wave.
Yeah.
And if I ride that, like I was saying, riding the waves of sound, I can make those bounce off each other, those two sound
Mm.
waves, and they create like a pulsing frequency, you know. And then on top of that happening, I'll use my tongue to create an overtone as well. So a third frequency that is literally oscillating off it. And this is absolutely fascinating. Like the effect that appears to have on our mind is
Brainwaves,
incredible.
actually, probably,
It
like
actually really
literally.
does kind of stretch you in two different directions, at least two different directions at the
You
same
as the
time.
player, or us as the party?
Both,
Both. Mm.
yeah. And I think it's that stretching in different directions that has um, the potential to enter into other realms, shall we say?
Yeah, yeah,
And that is a lot of what I'm playing with,
yeah.
deliberately, because we're able to leave time. We're able to leave a hold in the 3D world that we live
Mm,
in
mm.
so much, and we're able to surrender and be carried by those frequencies because our mind is just kind of, you know.
How's it go? um, yeah,
Yeah,
and actually, even, I mean, even if I'm even as a participant, even if I'm thinking, right, this bit of the journey, I'm actually going to lie down to, and I'm going to not be kind of distracted by hearing really funky instruments that I want to take photos of.
yeah.
I can't help it. I can't help it. And I hear this, and I mean, what's that? I've got to get up. I've got to take a picture of that.
It's because you're a compulsive
I am a,
creative.
I am
That's why.
I am. That's a good description. That's what I want to put on my cards. Compulsive creative. Yeah. But in doing so, I'm down and I'm deep, and then I come back up into consciousness to be able to operate a camera, as it were.
Yeah.
And that up and down,
Mm,
I love that too. It's that
mm,
sort of, it's not necessarily up and down, it's in and out, I guess, isn't it?
yeah.
It is multifaceted, I
Yeah.
suppose,
Yeah.
but it's that diving back in and
Mm,
then coming back out, and
mm.
yeah, it is very pattern orientated, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can see what
I
you're
can
saying about
see
the
it.
patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also ancient. I think that our
Mm.
ancestors, way back in early times, um, played around with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Using sticks banged together. You have one there and you have one there. And after a while of doing that, it starts to do things to your mind,
Mm.
and you add your voice in there, and you've got a chant going on, and then suddenly you're in this sort of trance. Basically, you've
Yeah.
entered
Yeah.
into a hugely potent space where magic can happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Lovely. And I guess in a way, the drum, if somebody was lying there and they're stressed, the drum being solid and slow would potentially, do you think it would allow their heart to sort of settle to your drum rhythm? Is that something that is
Well,
measurable?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that there are ways of measuring all of this, and it has been suggested that it would be interesting to do that with the sound journeys that I'm doing. You know, to actually
have a few people wired up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone that route yet,
I'll volunteer for that. Yeah,
but I do think that one of the curious things that I'm observing about tempo is that you would think that a slower tempo would be more relaxing, but actually quite a fast tempo can also be very relaxing.
maybe that, I don't know, but maybe that speaks to what you were saying inside the didgeridoos. The two waveforms are sort of meeting in the middle. Maybe if somebody is going and they're stressed or whatever, if it's fast, maybe it just counteracts and it neutralizes it. It bangs against it and cancels it out almost. Maybe.
Bangs against it.
Technical term.
but you know, Amber the scientist coming out here. You've lost me there. I don't know. Banging on about.
No. I'm trying. But if the frequencies, are,
yeah,
I don't quite know how to verbalize
I don't know.
it. But if they're, I can see it. I
I have heard that
it would neutralize
like
it.
Our
surely.
heartbeat when we're adults is slower than when we're a baby.
Yeah.
And it's a fairly well recorded idea that 130 BPM beats per minute is close to a baby's heartbeat, and that when we play that beat repetitively, it affects us and sends us into a trance. Or we call it a trance, but it's,
takes us back into ourselves then, in a way,
Yeah.
back to when we were that
And 130 BPM, well, by today's musical standards, is still quite slow, but it is actually quite fast, And if you do that, I do pieces in the sound journey, as you know, that are quite fast, where the didgeridoo and the drum are basically playing at a sort of trance dance type tempo, and after a while that has an effect on us, and we forget that we're listening to anything. We forget that we're in a room or we're in a group of people, and we are floating around in our inner world,
experience,
in our own inner experience.
Yeah.
Valuable place. Like I really, really want people to have the experience of going out into those realms, seeing and experiencing things on multi levels, and then coming back with gifts that we can use in this world.
Well, if you think that everything we can see, everything we're looking at, is only 5% of what's available. What we consider to be visible light is only 5% of the spectrum. And then if you think that we only use, what is it, like 10% of our brains or whatever, there's a whole lot of rest of that.
Yeah, there is a whole lot of rest of that, isn't there?
that we're not necessarily consciously aware of, but it's the natural thing, and that's the natural harmony. That's our natural way of being, really, is to actually be multidimensional. But some people are just so busy they don't actually give themselves the time out to come and do a journey or anything that would allow them to experience that. I mean, obviously being in nature is the best sort of quick fix for me. I that's what I find. But
I can see that going on in the world as well, and I think that as part of nature, time spent listening to ourselves and feeling is vital. And even if
access those places,
even if we are in amongst a busy phase in our life, and we're in the middle of a human-made environment, we are still nature, and we are still able to connect with the deepest places within ourselves. And that, I think, is a lot of what I'm addressing with the sound journey,
Yeah.
is to show people how to access that within themselves, so that that can be done day to day in amongst the world that we are negotiating,
And especially when you do it
navigating.
as when you have a whole day and it's more, I'm going to loosely use the word workshop, but it isn't necessarily like that. But when you actually create a circle and there's discussion and that aspect of how you do journeying with people,
Yeah,
I think once you've been in a circle,
yeah,
you've always got access to that circle.
yeah,
There's some part of you
yeah,
that is
yeah,
always in that,
yeah,
and you can close your eyes and tap back into it, even if
yeah.
you're having a bad traffic day or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Although
yeah.
maybe keep your eyes open while you're
And
driving.
I've been talking. Yeah, I've been calling the clan together,
Yes, I love that.
and for me that is very much about what you're touching on there.
Mm,
That we have an experience within ourselves, and we're also having an experience in the group. So in a sound journey, there might be 50 people lying down having an experience individually, but we're also affecting each other
mm,
and having a collective experience.
mm.
And we're coming together. We are consciously going inwards, gathering power, gathering gifts from, shall we say, spirit, and bringing them to the clan. And we're coming together empowered to share from that place and have a sense of identity that I think is really valuable, so that we know that we're not just on our own. And if we haven't actually remembered or been told our ancestry, we don't know further back than 3, 4 generations, maybe, if we're
If you're
lucky.
lucky, I was going to say, I didn't know even
Um,
my grandfather's ever
yeah,
dead before I was
if we're
born.
lucky, so we're not standing on the shoulders of a whole lineage of people, which is a powerful thing to have. But we still have a right to be here. We still have a right to feel like we belong, and that we can do meaningful ceremonies and say that this is, we are putting down roots that we're growing up from,
Yeah.
as a clan.
And it is lovely actually, having participated with your experiences for a few years now. There are certain people that I know I'm going to see at the next house
Yeah,
one next year, because they
yeah,
always
it's
come.
nice,
Or
isn't it? Yeah,
we are literally becoming a clan, and you
yeah,
go, oh hi. Or yesterday I said, oh, I'll see you next year then.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's beautiful on that level. But um,
yeah.
I was going to ask about, actually, in terms of you're saying the ancestry and the putting down roots and things, does it feel different to you because you're most of your year is in New Zealand, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
Even though you're English, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, does I know you've got slightly different instruments in both countries, so I guess it makes it a tiny bit different. But
Yeah.
how does the actual land that you're resonating with when you do what you do in each country
Mm.
make a difference? Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it
It
doesn't,
does
because
make
we're
a
going
difference.
so multi-dimensional. It doesn't
No, it does. It
affect
does
it.
make a difference. Oh.
Go on then. You've got to tell me how now.
Where to start? I feel very connected to this land
Here
in
in
England.
England, yeah.
We are in England. Yeah. I feel very connected to this place. I know the law of this land in a way that I'm still only learning the law of Aotearoa, New Zealand. But I'm hugely affected by all lands, even if I'm playing in another one that isn't one of those two. I'm sensing it. I'm
Being fed by it,
I'm being
probably.
fed by
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and there is a communication going on deeply. Um, I would say that I'm very sensitive to land and country, and it does have a big influence on me, right across the field. Excuse the pun.
across the field, in the field, across the field. Yeah, but it's almost like the I mean, there's so much we could go off on so many tangents with the whole frequency thing, but even just the concentric circles that are underneath what they say is underneath the crop circles, they're underneath the pyramids, you know, that swirling and movement and you know, the nodal points that are now getting bigger and bigger. Currently, as the planet ascends, we are making the dragon line stronger. There are people deliberately, consciously gathering in groups to do this. I guess what I'm trying to get to is to say that if you were to do what you do in the middle of a conscious group, in the middle of a nodal point on a dragon energy line, can we do that next time, please? That would be pretty good.
Sounds great fun.
Yeah. But just to create the resonance that would actually go back into the earth. And actually, I read the other day that the Egyptians could create movement through sound, like literally make themselves lighter. And probably how, I don't know, but probably how they built the pyramids or whatever, just to levitate through sound. And even the fact that the bees hum. Obviously, sorry, the bees hum, and the bees humming is what creates the sacred geometry within the honeycomb itself. It's their humming, it's a bzz of their sound frequency that makes the geometry.
Is it?
And the beauty of the natural world. There's
Yeah.
just so much.
There's so much. We're touching on the tip of the iceberg,
aren't we?
really. You know, it's a huge subject.
Yeah.
It's very exciting that we are now really opening the doors to using sound in so many modalities.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic.
And people are aware of it. And well, there was the hum on the solar eclipse. There was a global hum, as it were. And
and I mean, I think there are places on the earth where they are power places, and to do sound on those places is, it magnifies things. It travels distance through the earth,
the ley lines, and
So playing in the middle of Stonehenge.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I've done.
There you go.
I think I've done 2. I've definitely done 2. I might have done 3 sound journeys in the middle of Stonehenge.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I'll probably do one next year, actually.
Okay.
I haven't done it for a couple of years, but we are allowed a group of people, according to English Heritage, I think it is. I have to organise it with them.
Way in advance,
I have
to
book it and pay for it. And then a group of people are allowed to come in. It is an extraordinary amplifier. I mean, inside the inner circle, the sound is just massive. And if I step one step outside of that circle, it becomes really, really quiet.
Like almost a dome effect,
like literally
inside it.
Quieter, a lot quieter.
Wow.
You know? Energetically, there's so much going on there, and it is like a hub sending out energy all over the world. So it feels like whatever goes on in there is magnified and sent out, and it feels like a real honor actually to play in there, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be at that one next time.
Yeah, we did it both times at the full moon when the sun was setting. So the sun set and the full moon rose from the center of Stonehenge, listening to a sound journey.
Wow.
Yeah. Which of course did have its drawbacks, because generally sound journeys are done with your eyes shut, but they don't always have to be.
I'd watch that one. Talking of looking at things, what we have in between us here is actually your own artwork, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a print of one of my paintings. The original is about 1.5 meters across. It's painted in oils, and this one the original has the dust of ground up New Zealand greenstone in it, punamu, which I got from a dear friend of mine who's a carver. And then I mix it into the mediums that I use to create these textures. So this really has been very much inspired by sound journeys. And for me, it represents like cracks in the matrix that you slip between
Right,
into other
like little
worlds.
portals
Yeah,
to
they're like
nip out the
portal
back door.
cracks. Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love the
yeah.
colours of it as well.
So I love in my studio at home, which is just a converted garage actually, but one end of it is a recording studio and the other end is a painting studio, and they are like chalk and cheese. You know, the painting studio's got paint and mess everywhere, and the other end of the
Little
studio is
pristine,
really
shiny
precise
buttons
and
and
yeah, no dust. You know, just
yeah,
yeah. But
that's good.
when I'm listening to the sounds that I'm recording, then I get ideas visually for a painting. And so I move over and I start painting. And while I'm doing that, I'm listening to the sounds and getting ideas for the next sounds.
It all
And so they just
intermingles.
they feed each other.
Yeah, beautiful.
You know? That's the two areas of the two mediums that I use. I started out as a painter and a photographer,
And you still are.
and I still am. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
And tell me a little bit about your sort of vision for moving forwards. I mean, where, I mean, I hope you always do the sort of intimate small groups
I will.
as well,
I will
because they're
always
just
do
so
that.
powerful. But
Yeah.
but are you hoping to get into bigger, like more people need to hear you is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
how could we do that?
Thank you. Absolutely. I will always do the small, intimate ones, the non-amplified ones around the fire. It's so important to, keep connection to the earth and keep it like that on that intimate level. And yeah, I would love to see it grow into on a large scale. Apart from walking around and playing the didgeridoo directly over somebody, which the bigger the group,
I guess you
then
can't
I
do
can't do
everybody.
that. But otherwise, all aspects of what I'm doing can be scaled up. I'm sometimes playing at festivals, and there are several hundred people doing a sound journey. It works.
Yeah.
There's no reason then why it couldn't be scaled up much bigger.
Stadium
And
type.
stadium
Yeah.
size sound journeys for a massive collective dreaming experience. And what I'm seeing is that once somebody comes to a sound journey, they realize that, oh, this is amazing, they're really into it. Initially, they might think, oh, it's not their cup of tea. But if they happen to get
If
to
they
the
actually
point when they
experience
actually
it,
do it, they realize that it is. And that I'd say is without exception. So if it's possible to reach out to an enormous number of people and to impress on them that this will be something they will get something from and they will they will enjoy it, then I'd love to see it happen on a bigger scale, because I think it's just so valuable.
And well, not only that, in terms of reaching more people as individuals, but if you've got a super amount of people all together, then the collective, like we were saying about lying side by side and everything, the collective energy would then get broadcast out into the world.
Absolutely.
You'd be doing the world good,
absolutely.
not just the individual.
And if that sound journey was given a specific intention, then you've got however many people in that huge audience, as it were, participating in beaming something out. I feel like I could be the one to do that. Good. Or one of the ones to do that.
No, well, and, definitely. Oh, that's really strange. I've just glanced at a bookcase that's over here, and the word that jumped out at me is a black book, and on the side of it says live.
Yeah.
Look at that, live.
Yeah, I see that.
You're going to be live. Yeah. You're going to be live. You're going to be live on big stages, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And are you, because you said this maybe last year, are you still thinking that you might actually put some of it out on vinyl?
I certainly am.
You're going to?
Yeah,
definitely?
No, I certainly, that is absolutely top of the list of what
Would
I'm
you
wanting
like that?
to create.
Would you buy vinyl? We like vinyl, right? Everyone's still got an old record player somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I've more or less stopped making CDs, although there are some. But I would love to put my sound journeys recorded onto vinyl records. It's a dream to do that. And then I think the experience of putting it on, the ritual of doing it, it's just such a lovely experience to do that. And most people that have a record player have two speakers, and they're usually of good quality. So then you've got a lovely sound system to actually listen through.
Mm.
You're likely to sit and really focus on it in a way that you wouldn't if you were just flicking through Spotify.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll still be available as a download, and it'll still be available digitally, but I think the analog recording on a vinyl, it just is perfect for what I'm doing.
Great. Looking
Warm,
forward to that.
detailed, wonderful.
Yeah. And so how do people find what you have available at the moment then?
On my website, sikamusic.com.
I'll put it in the description.
Sikamusic.com, which is SIKA music.com.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, it's been good. And as always, if we could talk for hours, really.
We'll do another one maybe.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone,
All right.
for
Thank
listening.
you. Take care.